It is our traditions, ceremonies, and rituals. Each small detail carries a deep layer of our ancestors' wisdom. It is our pride, our treasure, our national encyclopedia. Let's turn the pages of this encyclopedia together. Modern life of every person is measured by time. We look at the clock 1,000 times since we wake up in the morning until we go to sleep in the night. We try not to let time go by. Nowadays, the special courses of time management have become fashionable. These courses teach people to manage their time. So, does time control us, or do we manage it? How did our nomadic ancestors measure time, count days and years without watches and modern calendars? The scientists who studied East and Central Asia say that the ancient inhabitants of this area, nomads, studied the space and left a lot of information and knowledge about it. For example, the Jupiter calendar with 12 animals was invented by the nomadic people of Central Asia. The calendar, which was first used in the Great Steppe, is now known as the Chinese calendar. Ethnographers who studied the traditions of nomads call the Kazakh yurts the first observatory in the history of mankind. The calendar of nomads is based on the time division into 12 periods. Why is this calendar called Jupiter calendar? Because this division corresponds to the motion of Jupiter. According to the canons of astronomy, Jupiter makes a complete circle around the Sun once in 12 years.
24 amal. 24 amal degenimiz жаңағы 24 жұлдыз.
24 actions. 24 actions are 24 stars, and 24 stars are 12 months. There are 12 stars in one month.
Оны жақсы білетін дүние жүзінде misal үшін Şemsiye есебі деген бар.
There is a count of Shamsiya. It is count of days. Kamarian count is months count.
Содан кейін Хамария есебі деген есеп бар.
In addition, there is a circle of stars. The Kazakhs knew these counts very well. They grazed cattle, heated the stoves, were involved in farming and poultry, knew a lot about plants and the cycle of stars. They knew how to choose the right time for wintering, for shearing, what time to move to wintering or summer pasture, what time is the best to plant crops. Looking at the stars, they determined when which star was born. Which side is a bit deeper directed to? They knew these things perfectly, and they knew that the earth goes around the sun. In ancient times, the Tengrian calendar came to China from the Great Steppe. In Chinese history, there was a tradition associated with the chronology. The Emperor Zhou went on journey across his country 5 times at different times of the year. This is very similar to the movement of nomads. In the winter, they moved to wintering, in the spring to the spring pasture, in the summer to the summer pastures, and in the autumn, they stayed on the summer pastures.
Халықтың күнтізбелік білімі күн, ай, жыл санау есебіне жүгінуге тура келеді.
It is a calendar knowledge. We need to calculate months and years. Everyone knows that one cycle consists of 12 years, which we associate with 12 animals. So, when a circle of 12 years is finished, it is one cycle, which we call Mushin.
Енді жалпы біздің білімімізше енді сол қытайлық дәстүр деп айтамыз, бірақ оның ар жағында да әрине.
As far as we know, it is a Chinese tradition, but behind this tradition there are 5 sacred elements of nature connected with the chronology. The origin of these elements goes to ancient times. How to calculate the correspondence of these 5 elements of nature, fire, water, earth, metal, wood, to 12 years? For example, a person who was born in the year of horse, in the year of fire, then, after 12 years, this year of horse, comes again. And in the 5th repeat of the year of horse, man will turn 61 years old. The Kazakhs call it Big Mushin.
5-ші рет келген кезде адам жасы 61-ге келеді. Осыны қазақ үлкен мүшел деп есептейді.
The Kazakhs have a legend about 12 months of the year. The animals heard about the start of the new year and agreed that the one who sees the sun first, from that animal the time counting and new year will start. The camel knew that he was the tallest of all animals and was sure he will be the first to see the sunrise. But it was a cunning mouse who saw the sunrise first by climbing on the camel's head. An angry camel ran after the mouse and fell into the abyss. So the proverb was born: the camel relied on his tall height and got with nothing. The word «mushel» is derived from the Kazakh word «mushe», which in translation means organ, part of the body. In the Kazakh medicine, the human body is divided into 12 parts. This doctrine was officially prohibited by the Soviet Union since 1926 because it shows the life philosophy of the Kazakh people.
Қазақтың өзінің түсінігі бойынша, мәселен, кішкентай балалардың
For example, small children grow up and then start to help on the farm. In science, this is called initiation. When the child reaches the age of 7, parents give him sheep for grazing. They put him on a saddle for the first time. This tradition is called «атқа мінер, тоқым қағар».
қозы жаюға көмектесе бастайтын болғандықтан, сол алғаш атқа мінгізіп, атқа мінер, тоқым қағар деген.
This period can be called a half of mushel. It is a designation of the child's social status, determining his or her status as a small member of society who helps in household. Adding the time of being in utero, 13 years are considered the first mushel. It is a period when the child passes from the childhood to adolescence. Thus, the person passes different social periods. The person reaches 25 years. If he or she gets married, then he or she should settle down. The childhood is called the age of a lamb, and when the child grew up, this age was designated as sheep age. This means he reached the age when he could graze the sheep. The second mushel, which starts from the age of 25, was called the age of the horse. It is the age when the person has already become mature and he or she has developed physically and has good spiritual culture.
Жылқы жас деп айтады. Жылқы бағатын кезі әбден кемелденіп, толысқан күш қайраты да, ақыл есі барлығы жетілгендіктен, бұны жылқы жас деп атайды.
The transition from one mushel to another is accompanied by health deterioration, psychological and personal difficulties. In this period, the man tried to defend himself against the evil eye, kept his age in secret. And when he was asked, "How old are you?" he answered by adding or subtracting a couple of years from his actual age if he was in the age of mushel. The Kazakhs did not celebrate birthdays. Old people, centenarians, did not calculate their age at all. The Mongolians considered the third mushel, 37 years, and the sixth mushel, 73 years, the most dangerous. By the way, they added to their age time spent in utero. What is mushel? Let's take bamboo or reed as an example. It grows and has a first, second, third knee. The knee is a place of the fault. In the winter, during the wind, the reed breaks in the place of this knee. So, in such analogy, and mushel was considered as a kind of knee of life. It is a very difficult period. 37 years comprise 3 mushels. There is saying one can destroy the ord at the age of 30. If the person does not destroy the ord at the age of 30, then it will not be possible to seize the fortresses at the age of 40. After the third mushel, another 36 years are required for the further maturation of the person. In other words, 3 mushels are needed. These years are called the time of life understanding. During this period, the person gets married, starts family, builds house, gives birth to the children, works for the benefit of people. In the next period, the person becomes respectable among people. He participates in public affairs. He can give advice to young people. People call them karasakal. In translation, it means person with black beard. Not in the literal sense, the word black has wider meaning. In this context, it means reaching the considerable age by this person. And people call Aksakal 60 years old man. 25, 37, 49, 61, according to the concepts of our ancestors, Big Michel is when the person reaches the year of element of nature when he was born. And it is 61 years. This is Big Michel. Earlier in ancient times, it was very rare when the person could reach Big Michel or lived longer.
Көне дәуірлерде адамның мысалы табиғатқа әбден тәуелді болған кездерінде сол үлкен мүшелден асып жасайтын адамдар өте сирек кездескен.
Modern medicine has proved that certain physiological changes take place in the body of the person who reached the age of Michel. For example, the hormonal system of the person changes, it temporarily loses its balance. At the age of 13, the puberty starts. At the age of 25, the human body stops growing. The age of 37 years is called the period of psychological crisis. The American scientists call this period the shadow period of human life. At the age of 49, the sexual function and fertility goes down.
Белгілі бір мүшелден келесі мүшелге өту аралығында жас қой жаңа айтып отырғанымыз 25.
Transition from one Michel to another, now we're talking about the ages of 25, 37 years. It is a peculiar transition period.
Жылға дейінгі уақыттың аралығын жалпы
The period of transition from one Michel to another, approximately from 1.5 to 2 years, is very dangerous period because the most important changes in the human body take place during this time.
өзгерісі биологиялық тұрғыдан, физиологиялық тұрғыдан өзгерістер ұшырап жатады. Мысалы енді ғылымда айтып жатыр.
The scientists say that blood chemistry changes, it's renewed. In general, the body undergoes the great changes. Psychological state of the person is different. The person has reached a certain level and the body adapts to this level. It is believed that these changes provoke exacerbation of the existing diseases.
Өзгерістерге сай сақ болу керек. Өзгерістер қандай да бір мәселен.
These changes lead to relapses. That is why, according to the beliefs of the Kazakhs, the person should be very careful during this period.
Қазақтың өзі халықтық білімі тәжірибесі бойынша аса сақ болуды жақсы көреді, құптайды.
Different rituals performed during the age of Michel are symbolic signs of life and death. For example, at the end of the 12-year cycle, the person dies and is born again in the new period. Nomads believe that the person passes the next stage of the evolutionary development with a transition from one Michel to another. Therefore, when the person passed the age of one Michel, people cooked 7 shilpeks, pancakes, celebrated and performed various ceremonies.
Ырым жаңағы қауіппен өзіне келе жатқан қатерден сақтану. Көзге көрінбейтін жаңағы
There are certain rituals to protect against upcoming threat.
садақа беру дейді. Ол енді ұстанып қалған жол болғаннан кейін.
The person should sacrifice something to protect against invisible evil forces. If the 12-year cycle was ending in the year of the sheep, then people wore clothes of brown color.
Сондықтан оны сөз жоқ беруге тиісті болады. Мүшел жасында 12 жылға байланысты.
In the year of the rooster, clothes of red color, like the color of scallop. In the year of the snake, they wore long dresses. So people wore certain clothes during the year, and if the year passed successfully, they sacrificed some small things. It's like person says, I'm alive, thank you. This is ritual.
Аман шыққаннан кейін садақаға беріп жібереді. Мен аман шықтым деп бұл ырым. Ежелден қалыптасқан наным.
As per Sangreism, time is eternal and it cannot be measured by numbers. Numbering is linear and the age of Michel has no beginning and has no end. The concept of Michel can be fully used in our everyday life as a certain compass of life. Our ancestors left us information on the way to live, following the sun in harmony with nature and the outer space. That's why nomads have always been on the move. The Kazakh village does not exist in the way it used to be, and there are no nomads, wandering people, but most of prairie folkways and traditions still surround us. We follow them, but we not always know what they mean. Bahit Kairbekov, poet.